Welcome to IronCast, brought to you by GT&E. I'm your host, Jason Gillhooley. In this podcast, we talk all things iron. Whether you're in the dirt, trees, or pavement, it's about real people, their stories, and real conversation. Insight to what's happening in the construction industry and everything in between. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to get things fired up and ready to go.
All right.
Do your intro music. It's the top left and then just come right in.
Welcome to the IronCast, where I am not Jason Gillhooley, rather Rachel Heiser, and we're going to flip the script today. I am going to be, in a sense, interviewing the host of the IronCast. Jason, welcome to IronCast.
Oh, Rachel, it is so great to be here and having this awesome opportunity to have the script flipped on me.
Yeah, and I know
I'm
people
excited.
can't necessarily see it, but you are on the opposite side of the table.
You are in the driver's seat.
I have full control of the turntable.
It's actually not turntable.
What is it called again?
It's just a mixing board that we use.
A mixing board, yeah. And so I gave you a lot of grief over those sound clips that came preloaded on it.
The grief was that you specifically told me that when I asked how many times I can use sound effects in the podcast, you said 0 times.
Did I say 0? I thought I said once because...
Well, you said once, but then I did it and you're like, how about let's do it 0?
Oh, and here I am eating my words because I just used it. It did help me with the intro, so I retract that statement now.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's great to have our listeners get to know you. You are central to the Lebanon, Lewisberry, Mechanicsburg, even a little out east near Reading, Allentown area, Bucks County. So there are a lot of our customers and even employees that maybe they've seen you online, but they don't know you. So we want to kind of dive into that so that way our entire audience knows more about you.
That's great. I'm excited. Let's do this.
When did you get this idea to start this podcast?
To start, at the time, we hadn't even have a name for it, but I wouldn't say it was an idea. It was more so a vision. What's a way that I can be part of a solution, not a problem? There's an awesome opportunity we have here at GT&E. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of things happening over the last couple years when Groff grew. And with that growth, there's always growing pains. There's always things to work through. And what I saw was there was 3 different companies. And that's just the way it works out. There was Groff Tractor and Equipment Company having an acquisition to taking on Plaster Equipment Company, which was a John Deere dealer, and then shortly after taking on a couple stores out west from Murphy Tractor, also a John Deere dealer. And really the alignment of that was incredible to put everything under one roof. You have, the powerhouse of John Deere and Workin Group, as we say now, Vertkin.
It's Vertkin.
I have learned that. I'm a Dutchie, so it's Workin. But just having everything under one roof, and change is not easy, and it wasn't for me. And I thought exactly what I said before. I can be part of the solution or the problem. And that's when this idea, which was actually a vision, of what it would look like, came to me. And I said, wow, I should start a podcast.
So you're saying
we should start a podcast.
Yeah. So you need a little creative push behind it a little bit, but that's where I came in.
Exactly. So, I was just, it came to me in the morning as I always get up in the morning and, it's not too long after I'm up, I'm down there making coffee. Mm-hmm. So I'm a, 4 or 5 in the morning kind of guy. I love the mornings. And some of my best visioning or thinking happens with some liquid encouragement, you can say, or, the jump start of the day with that first cup of coffee. And I'm just sitting there. And that's when that vision came that, I have some amazing conversations with people. And I love people. I love hearing about people and, different things that they're into. And I'm out there, my role, I'm out there in the field at job sites, in customers' shops, and I'm having these great conversations. I'm also in our shop talking to, our technicians. They're working on a piece of equipment. We're having shop talk, or I'm behind the parts counter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out there riding along with our salesmen, and all these people I get to talk to in a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, people need to hear these awesome conversations. And really what came to my mind is the stories.
Mm-hmm.
It came down to the stories. Everybody has a story to tell. And the more people hear our stories, and I'm not saying just us that work at GT&E, not just my stories, but also the stories of our customers,
mm-hmm.
that will just create better relationship. And we have a platform here, so to speak, to really build this culture and to make this whole GT&E thing something incredible.
Yeah. You wanted to be part of the solution. And forgive me, but I did not introduce you with your title. And you said you go and you visit a lot of customers. So for those who don't know, what is your title and what does your job entail within GT&E that you're going to visit customers?
Yeah. So I am a customer support advisor. And a lot of times, we just say, oh, hey, here's Jason, your CSA. And they're like, well, what's a CSA? I said, well, it stands for can't sell anything. And that's really not what I'm out to do. But John, out there in the industry, there's, other manufacturers use different names for what I do. In some facets, you might hear a PSSR, product
Mm-hmm.
support sales rep, or a PSR. That's similar to what I do. I'm out there representing our parts and service department to our customers. The CSA role, it's very involved. And I don't think some people quite understand, because what I explain to customers when I explain what my role is, I tell them I'm a conduit between you and our company. And that's probably the best way I can describe this, because I'm really involved in a lot of, our different departments. I've been involved with sales and with parts, with service. And I get to bring that face, I get to be the face to GT&E with our customers.
So what does a day in the life of a GT&E John Deere CSA look like?
It's a long day. It looks long. I'll just start with that.
Yeah.
So with my role, I have a lot of flexibility and to basically manage my time to get out and support as many customers in one day as I possibly can. The day in the life of a CSA, it starts early. Usually I'm on the computer finishing things up from the day before. And as I said, I'm an early guy, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm up pretty early. And I have a mobile office. It's a truck.
How many miles do you put on that truck a year?
Around 30,000.
So that's a lot of driving. And that doesn't include your personal vehicle. So you drive a lot.
I do drive a lot.
Yeah.
It's so the day in the life of CSA, it's a lot of driving. I cover a very large territory. Right now I'm covering, I think it's 18 counties.
Wow. That's a lot.
So obviously, that's a lot to take on. And I know that it's an important role. And a lot of my day is deciding, okay, what's my priority list?
Mm-hmm.
Which customer do I need to do this for, that for today? It's a lot of planning. So a lot of things that I get into, I have a lot of what I call parts cabinets out there with my customers. And in these parts cabinets, we do a lot of sales with Fleet Guard through John Deere. That's actually where we get our Fleet Guard filters from, is through John Deere, comes in on our stock order. And I have these cabinets out there that has all makes filters. So we're not just covering the John Deere equipment. A lot of the John Deere equipment, we even have the John Deere filters for them as well in these cabinets. I also have the Fleet Guard filters for their trucks, for their other equipment, their Cat, Komatsu.
So how does, if a customer wants one of these cabinets, how does that work?
It starts with a conversation with me. So basically, I'm able to come in and set up a customer, look at their fleet, and then we say, okay, you're going to buy X amount of filters in a year. We're going to need to put a cabinet in. We're going to have a equipment filter list. That way, when you bring in your, whatever it is, your 316 Cat excavator, we'll have all your filters that you're going to need.
So we have filters for all makes.
All makes, all models.
All makes and models.
All colors. Yep.
Nice.
So, we get to really and this is what I want to get to on this. It's a solution, a one-stop shop. And that's really the day in the life of a CSA, is finding solutions and offering value to everything that we actually have to offer. Because another big part of what I do is make recognition of what we actually offer.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of customers don't know, like, oh, you have all makes filters. Mm-hmm. Oh, and hey, did I tell you too that, we have some really good, cleaning products for your equipment. It's just those conversations where these guys are calling up 10, 12, 20 different people.
Yeah. They can just call you.
They can just call me.
And you can help direct them and get them what they need.
Yeah.
So that is the importance of a CSA. It's streamlining solutions.
Correct.
For our customers. So they already maybe have purchased a piece of equipment, and you can kind of be the middleman between the service department, the parts department, if needed.
Correct. I can be that advocate.
Yeah.
I can be that advisor. I can advise them.
That's great.
To, hey, have you thought of this solution? We're going down this route, but have you thought of this solution, this way of attacking this problem? The best thing I can do for a customer, I think, when I show up to their shop or in their office or out in the field, is basically say, what issues are you facing right now? What can I do for you?
So you have had a lot of visits with a lot of our customers over the years. How many years have you been employed as the John Deere? Well, let's go back to the beginning with you. How did you...
To the beginning.
To the beginning. So how'd you first get into the construction equipment world?
So I didn't start my career, in construction equipment. I actually started my career, and I know I've mentioned this before on other episodes, that I was in the motorcycle and power sports industry. Mm-hmm. I started as a technician in the shop, quickly switching to a service manager role, working for a multi-line motorcycle dealership. Then 2008 happened, and that big housing bubble really hurt the power sports industry.
Yeah.
And I realized, wow, I'm going to need to, because I, needed to switch careers. There wasn't a clear direction at that time for me. I just knew that I need to get out of the power sports and find something new. Mm-hmm. So a couple years passed by, and I always had my hand in different things.
Yeah.
I had my own, I worked at a motorcycle dealership. I also had, a small business working on custom bikes on the side. I did that for a while. I actually had a machine and welding business. I was partnered with a friend of mine. We did a lot of structural steel for homes around Lebanon County. Mm-hmm. It was successful. We found a niche. But I knew I need to work in a dealership again. And there was a good friend of mine that I actually worked with in the at the bike shop, Bill Shutter. He's no longer with our company now, but he said, "Hey, Jason," and it's actually at my son's first birthday party. We did a big old pig roast because Bill and I were always into smoked meats.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Bill had a catering business for a time, and I would work with him, and we'd do that. So I'm always into a lot of things. And Bill was there at helping roast the pig,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Hey, Jason, I know you're looking for something." He said, "Hey, I had this new opportunity working at the time it was Plaster Equipment Company." He said, I really think I'm moving on. I'm going to get into the sales team, and I think you should fill that spot at their parts counter. So
you had a great referral.
I had a great referral, but also I had, a lot of insight to what I was walking into. And this was somebody that I've worked with a lot, and I trusted him.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said, "Hey, this would be a good opportunity for you,"
Yeah.
I just grabbed onto his coattails and he drug me in here. And when I first came through the doors, I can tell you this, there was something different. And this was, here at Lebanon,
Mm-hmm.
at our store. The air was light. The mood was good.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Bill introduced me to Dale Ballmer. At the time was the parts manager. And right away, Dale, he said, "Hey, let me show you around. Let me introduce you to and I'm just a guy coming in, obviously with a good referral, but
yeah,
I'm just a guy coming in looking, to see if there's a opportunity for employment here, working at their parts counter."
Yep.
And he took me around to everybody that was here in their offices, said, "Hey, this is Jason. He's, looking to be, working our parts department."
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my first interview, I did hand my resume and did the application. I remember my first interview was with the product support manager, with Dale Ballmer, and, the owner of the company. And the question was asked by the product support manager, "Why do you want to get into construction equipment industry?" Because he knew that he saw my resume.
Yeah.
I was,
why the jump? Why
the switch? And I still to this day remember my answer to that was, I don't care if it's construction equipment, motorcycles, cars, whatever it is. I love things that go and work.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, I love dealing with customers. And as long as I'm doing that, I'll be happy.
And I think hearing you say that, it stands true. You can see the amount of customers that walk through our door in a day, and they see you in your office and they yell, "Hey, Jason." A lot of people know you by a first name basis. They know who you are. You've built a relationship with these customers over the years.
Yeah.
So you've been to a lot of job sites. You've been to a lot of shops. You've been to a lot of just locations wherever our customers are at. You're there. You're dropping off. You're delivering parts to them. I've seen you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Delivering filters. The other a couple weeks ago, you were loading something into the back of your truck. Was it in a bucket? You're moving a bucket from Mechanicsburg to Lebanon. Just all sorts.
Oh yeah,
of
we
stuff.
had a machine to deliver, and
Yeah.
we need the bucket. And
you happen
we
to
make
be
things
somewhere.
happen.
Yeah, and that's pretty neat. You can basically, maybe every day is not quite entirely the same.
Nope. One day is never the same as the next.
Yeah, and that probably
it.
keeps things.
I love it.
That keeps things interesting for you, probably. Yeah.
And what a difference. I got to tell you this, because what a difference I saw, from going from the motorcycle industry into the construction equipment industry. Just the customers are amazing.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, when these guys call in a lot of times for parts, they know more than me. and they know I'm the new guy, but they were super cool. And so not only did I learn from, very experienced parts guys, but I also got to learn from our customers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They were telling me things like, oh yeah, here's a trick to do that. Or, hey, just so you know, you're not seeing it. You're not out here at this piece of equipment. I am, just so you know, this works with this in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So when you call in for this part, always send me this part. And it's like, but the other thing I learned too was I've never seen such a level of urgency, especially in the parts department, but also working with our service department at the time, in the parts department, there are technicians that come in to me and be like, hey, let's look up these parts. We got to get these parts ordered. But to have a parts order, let's say at 3:00 in the afternoon, and have that come from Grimsby, Ontario.
Yeah.
At the time, it was actually, I think it was in New York. The parts were coming in from New York, but more recently, they've been coming from Grimsby, Ontario, where you're calling at 3:00 in the afternoon. Guy says, hey, this machine is down. And this was a big learning curve for me. So in the motorcycle industry, you can have a motorcycle that's down. It might ruin the guy's ride that weekend, and that's an urgent thing. The guy spends money on his trip or whatever it is. But this was a game changer to me that, hey, this 850K dozer is down, but it's bulking a pile for the excavator, which is loading the haul truck. And every hour that machine is down is costing how much money? So the guy calls in and says, hey, I need that part like yesterday. And, your first answer is, well, why didn't you call me yesterday? But no, this is how this works. Stuff happens. But the fact that like we could have a part shipped while we're sleeping, the guy can be here at 7 a.m., grab his stuff, get to the job site, get that part on, get the machine up and running.
Yeah.
That blew my mind to have parts that fast. And that level of urgency that, hey, how soon you need it? Yesterday. All right, I'll have it here 7 a.m. So the person that I replaced was Bill Shutter. He moved to the sales team, did an amazing job working in sales. And there was a period there where Bill said, hey, I got an opportunity up in New York. I'm going to go work for 5-Star, another John Deere dealer. And he said, here we go with this same statement he made before. He said, Jason, I think you should throw your name in the hat to take my position in sales, selling equipment. I'll tell you what, I've had some sleepless nights. That was definitely many sleepless nights considering this, like that, to go out in the field, to sell equipment. I had to think long and hard about that. But again, I had good encouragement. I had somebody I trusted that said, Jason, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Can I sell equipment? Well, I could sell parts. Today, looking back, I'm so glad I took that leap.
So do you think that the sales position led you eventually to the CSA position?
My goodness, yes. So when I took the sales position from Bill Shutter when he moved, I quickly realized like I found this groove. And I think every salesman has their own groove. It took me a while, but I found my groove. I started selling equipment, that excitement. But what I really loved the most was that I was out on the road. I was out in the elements, in the customers' shops, in their offices, on their job sites, at their landings. So interestingly enough, Bill Shutter said, hey, I'm coming back. But before that call came in, I was offered this role as a CSA. The timing of it was just perfect. They also told me, and Bill Shutter's coming back. That's what I was saying. I had to back up because I already knew that Bill was coming back before he told me.
Yeah.
Bill's coming back so he can take over that territory and you guys get to work together.
Oh, yeah. The dynamic duo.
we're getting the band back together.
Yeah.
I was sitting there, position was offered to me, and I knew, I'm like, this is for me. I'm a nuts and bolts kind of guy.
Yeah.
I love knowing how things work. I love creating solutions. I love helping people. I really do. I get more satisfaction that somebody else is up and running than if my own truck's broke down and I get it up and running.
Yeah.
And when they offered it to me, I immediately said, "Oh, sign me up, hand up, let's do this." And I remember the owner of the company saying, "Well, hey, Jason, there's something you should probably do first before you say yes." I was like, "Well, what is that?" Like, I'm ready to go. He said, "You should probably talk to your wife first. Give it a couple of days, take the weekend, think about it." And I already knew what the answer would be, but he was right.
Yeah.
I should probably talk to my wife first about this.
So a big part of what we offer with the CSA position is free undercarriage evaluations. How many do you have lined up so far this summer?
Ones that I haven't done yet?
Ones that you have done and ones that you have lined up.
Oh my goodness.
What would you estimate a total to be within the next 2 to 3 months?
Next 2 to 3 months, I probably have I'd say about 30 undercarriage evaluations I'm going to be doing.
30.
And they're all planned.
That's a lot. How long does an undercarriage evaluation take on average?
Well, there's a lot of factors. If conditions are good, a mid-size dozer or excavator or track loader.
Yeah.
I would say it takes about 45 minutes.
What would you say is a benefit for our customers to utilize the service that we offer?
With the undercarriage inspections, the biggest value is having eyes on your equipment from a trusted customer support advisor. That's a key piece there, is trusted. And obviously trust has to be built. Undercarriage and replacements are very expensive. So when you look at the total cost of ownership of a machine, I'm saying how much it costs to run that machine over its life. The undercarriage, not all machines have an undercarriage, but on the ones that do, this big steel undercarriages, that cost is a lot. I'll just say that. Managing, planning, because it'll down your machine it could be up to a week to replace that undercarriage.
What are common failures that would have a machine go down with undercarriage?
So big failures, especially in central Pennsylvania, that I've seen are track chains. So there's these track chains that, have pads on, bolted to them, and that's, what allows them to move forward, backward.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to dumb this down, but
the chain I need it dumbed down sometimes. It's fine.
And that's cool. That's cool. Like, we're all learning here, safe environment. Yeah. But no, the track chains, they have links, and then there's pins and bushings, and they move. They have to move because they wrap around a sprocket.
Yeah.
And in central Pennsylvania, there's a lot of rock.
Okay.
And those pads that are on, bolted to those chains become big pry bars on these joints that have to move. And a lot of failures are in the track chains. So
you have to sell a lot of, is it replacement parts for when these things start to wear?
So usually what I do, and maybe what I'll do is I'll just walk you through a little bit of what the inspection entails. When I come up to a machine, I'm looking for play in bearings on the rollers, the idlers. I'm looking at wear measurements. So when there's a part that's new, it has this much wear material. When it's 100% worn out, this is the measurement. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going out measuring different components that interact with the other components, wearing them down. And I'm saying, hey, you're in sandy material. And we know what sandpaper does. It wears things down.
Yeah.
Or you're in a lot of rock jobs, and, we're starting to see that the pins and bushings, have a lot of play in them. So what could happen is your chain could break.
Oh.
And it never breaks at the right spot, right on that nice soft pad that easily get to. No, it's going to break when it's down in the in the pond that you're digging out, and then it's going to rain tomorrow. So this is what I'm saying is that's the value. It's but also I'm not just looking at undercarriages.
So is it would you say it's a be proactive, not reactive?
I would exactly say that, and I have said that in the past.
Okay,
I took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, that the way you're explaining it, like I've heard a lot about how the procedure's done. I've even done some videos that we put out on social where you kind of walk the customers through what you're doing and the importance of it.
Yeah.
But I know there's so much more entailed in a job that's part of why I like to have this conversation with you, and also to put out photos of, not just you, but the technicians. And so everybody can kind of understand the intricacies of everything that goes on in a day-to-day operation and what services you provide. So you do a lot of undercarriage evaluations.
I do also parts cabinets.
You also do parts cabinets. You sell parts.
Oh my goodness.
So people can call in and talk to the guys here at the counter, or they can call you.
Yep. And a lot do. Yeah.
What if they want to buy, say, I don't know, attachments?
I do sell attachments. Not many. We have a whole sales team that does that, but there's some circumstances where I sell attachments. Actually, there was one I can tell you about was they were a company, and the owner of the company was French.
Okay.
He was French.
So they just doing work
and he
in the
called
US?
me up.
Yeah.
He called me, he asked me about, a rock breaker, but I couldn't understand what the heck he was trying to get, because he kept saying, I'm looking for a jackhammer. And I'm like, a jackhammer? Oh, a jackhammer. You're looking for a jackhammer. And the whole time, like in my head, I'm thinking, it probably makes a different sound than a jackhammer.
What does a jackhammer sound like?
A jackhammer is a
okay.
And a jackhammer probably is oh my goodness.
Oh, so was that a dad joke? Jackhammer.
I made it up, yes.
It was pretty
and
good.
I'm a dad.
I really thought for a second because it would be believable. We'd
A
have
jackhammer.
customers from all over the world. And a lot of people travel to PA, so that would make sense. Well, so I did a little bit of homework, and I'm going to try, which I might have a dad joke. Why did the track shoe go to therapy?
To get on track?
Because it had emotional wear.
Oh, my goodness.
My hammer told me a joke once.
Your hammer told you a joke?
Yeah, it nailed it.
Nice.
Hey, all right. I tried.
That'll be the official sound of dad jokes.
You have some good stories over the years.
I got a lot. Yeah.
You have a lot of stories.
A lot of great stories.
Any that stand out that you maybe like to share with the listeners?
There's so many, Rachel, and I'm a big fan of comedy, so I'll probably mention the one that's funny. This was actually before I was a CSA. I was out there, new guy out in the field selling equipment, and I was picking up a bucket.
Okay.
From a customer. It's actually it was a customer out in Orwigsburg. It was Strauss Brothers. I was going out to pick up a bucket that was to be returned.
Okay.
And it was sitting on a trailer, and it was out there at Strauss Brothers shop. So I get out there, and the bucket was sitting on a trailer that was just, out there in the middle of their yard.
Yeah.
There was no truck attached to it. And I was to get on that trailer, and I was to, take the load chains off, and I was going to grab their one piece of equipment. I was going to couple to it, and then I was going to put it on the back of our truck and take it back to the shop to be returned. I think it was a rental return. I don't know like all these details, but basically there's a trailer sitting out in the middle of their lot at their shop, and it's a beautiful site. They have a beautiful shop. There's this big pond and this big fountain.
Oh.
And He has since passed, but Dale Strauss, awesome guy. A lot of great stories from him. His house actually sits back there.
Okay.
And I was there on this trailer parked in the middle of their lot, uncoupling this bucket. So there's these 2 swans.
Oh, they had swans.
2 of them.
Oh.
And I never thought anything about it, but I'm just there doing my thing. And all of a sudden these swans, they come waddling because, they waddle. They come waddling up and but their necks were straight up. Their heads were up.
Were their
and
wings
their
out?
wings were out. And I'm looking
This sounds like a Jurassic Park scene.
I really felt like I was at Jurassic Park, but I'm not really thinking swans. I didn't know
Yeah, they're pretty and elegant, right?
Yeah, you think of swans their necks intertwine and
oh yeah, all those photos with them they make the head shape like a heart. Yeah.
But I'm why is the wings up in my I feel like I'm going to be attacked here. And they came up to this trailer, and I'm on top of the trailer, and they started circling this. Rachel, I was stuck on that trailer. It felt like hours. It was probably only a half hour. I'm up there. And
you were stuck on the trailer.
Yeah, they I tried to get off, but I'm thinking to myself, am I gonna make it to my truck?
How far was your truck from the trailer?
It was kind of far.
So you would have had to sprint.
I would have had to yeah.
How fast does a swan run?
It had to be they could kind of fly, they got some horse or wind power behind them.
I wouldn't have tried to outrun one of those.
I wasn't. I'm the last thing I need is to get into a fight with one of these precious swans.
Put it in a headlock.
Or just grab it. Start but that's the last thing I need.
Yeah.
Is to get into a fight with a swan.
Yeah, that wouldn't look good for the company.
So I'm up there on this trailer, and I call at the time, he's the owner, and I called Dale, and he says, I said, "Hey, Dale, I'm here picking up this bucket, but I'm stuck on your trailer." He's like, "What do you mean? You fell?" Or "No, I didn't fall. I'm stuck here because your swans won't let me get." He's like, and it was it was nothing to him. He goes, "Oh yeah, they do that. They are pretty mean."
So they're guard swans, essentially.
Essentially, yeah, they're guard swans. But I think they just naturally. But
so what? So they just were circling the trailer, hissing at you.
Yeah, there's hissing, there's flapping. They just wouldn't let me.
They were
get
just
off
"You're not going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere.
You got to call."
Yeah, you got to call. They were guard swans.
You got to call Ghostbusters. You got to call somebody.
You got to call somebody.
You need
and
help.
Who are you going to call? Dale Strauss.
So what did Dale say?
Dale said, "Hey, just hang on there. I know what to do." This ain't the first time this has happened.
He's like, here we go
I'll
again.
be down. Yeah, that's probably what he was thinking. And all he did is he pulled in, he came in his truck and he gets out and he just starts waving his hands and they took off. I'm like, is that
that's all you had to do?
I don't know. Probably it's because they recognize him.
Yeah.
Maybe he feeds them and he's like, don't mess with the hand don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
so you got stuck on a truck.
Yeah.
On a trailer.
On a trailer for 20 minutes.
That does sound scary though.
I don't even say I was scared. I was just kind of like, what do I do? They're swans.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an awkward position to be in.
It was. So yeah,
so good memories.
Good memories.
Very good memories.
It was funny.
A little bit of PTSD, but
probably a little PTSD.
Yeah, nothing.
I don't
too
look
bad.
at swans the same way anymore.
So we've learned a lot about your job and your role as a CSA. And that sounds like you do a lot during the week and probably on weekends and nights. I would assume sometimes your days are long.
I will say this. I have a family. And I'm very involved outside of work as well. I think that's where I've incorporated waking up early to try and combat some of that. I try and balance as much as possible.
So with that balance, then what are some of the things that you like to do outside of this role, outside of work?
Outside of work?
Yeah.
I love to cook. I love food. I've actually worked in restaurants.
Which restaurants have you worked in?
Well, so the restaurant's no longer in existence anymore. But back when I was in high school, I worked at Paulo's Pizza here in Myerstown.
Oh.
And I made a pretty good pizza.
You still make pizza? Or what do you like to cook these days?
These days, I'm all about the smoked meats.
So you have a smoker?
I do have a smoker.
What kind of smoker do you
I have a Pit Boss pellet smoker. That's a game changer. It's so easy. I just set it. It kind of fits my lifestyle. You know, I'm a dad and
set it, forget it.
Set it. Well, I mean, I like the prep work and all that. And I like to just kind of be able to like set the smoker, you know, run to the grocery store or mow the grass while that thing's going. There's nothing better than the smell of cut grass and smoked meat.
How do you cut lines in your grass? I hear that this is a very big thing, like next to dad jokes with dads. It's the lines when you cut the grass. Like if you see your neighbor cutting the grass and you hear that mower, it's like you have to do yours within an hour or something.
It does spark an interest. Like, hey, oh yeah, that's right, I gotta mow the grass. Well, you know,
yeah.
Jimmy John over there is doing his, I better get on mine, you know.
Do you have like,
do I have lines?
Yeah, like lines in your, like, because my husband's obsessed with the lines and he just got a new electric mower.
Oh, that's definitely popular.
The Toro. It was on the box. It's labeled. It creates nice lines in the grass, and every time he's done cutting the grass, it's like, look at those lines. I'm like,
yeah.
So that's why I'm like, is that a thing?
It's a thing for some people, and I always did appreciate nice straight lines. And there's people that'll get like that cross hatch going by going the other way the other week, or I live on a hill.
Okay.
So my lines are determined by the angle of the dangle.
You just go where the mower
goes. And I have a. It's not a John Deere. Sorry, guys. I do not own a John Deere lawnmower. It's an Exmark 0 turn. Oh. And I have a lot of hills, so I had to fill the tires with washer fluid. Yes,
why?
For weight.
Oh.
So it gave me some extra weight, and I put some new tires on it to help hang on the.
I've never heard of this before. That's
yeah. And people film with different things. I chose washer fluid because it doesn't freeze, and also it's very inexpensive.
Oh, that's smart.
It's not eco-friendly though. I imagine not.
How often do you have to fill the tires with washer fluid?
Once.
Just a once and done.
Unless I change the tires or something. I mean, it's kind of a sacrificial lamb there, you know.
Yeah.
Once I guess I could pour it into the next one, but
yeah. So you like to smoke?
I smoke meats.
Smoke meats, and anything else that you like to do outside of work?
The other thing I'm a musician. Primarily, I like to play guitar. I play acoustic, electric.
So you can play when we have an open house coming up. We can book you.
Yeah, you can book me. Yeah, I'd love to play. I love playing guitar. I also I'd say I have more experience playing drums. I like to play drums.
Which do you like more, guitar or drums?
Well, I also sing, and I'm no Phil Collins, so but I can drum and sing. It just doesn't look right. Only Phil Collins.
That sounds hard to do.
Well, you got to be ambidextrous, and you got to kind of like separate your brain a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds hard.
So you know,
no.
It takes time and practice, and
yeah.
But
do you like to smoke meats? You like to cut the grass? You play in a band?
I play in multiple bands.
Play in bands.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a podcast host.
I am now.
Yeah.
And so are you now.
Kind of.
You're doing it. Look at you.
So you've had a few challenges that you've talked about earlier, being attacked by swans. What are some other challenges you face as a CSA?
So yeah, some of the challenges that I face, I'm sure like some of our salesmen or other salesmen, territory salesmen that are out. It's just there's challenges out there when you're working remotely, when you're working out in the field. I'll tell you this: the first challenge that I run into in a day is when I get to the end of my drive, coming out, from my road, and I come to a T, and I'm like, okay, do I turn left or do I turn right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's physically, metaphorically speaking, there are some days where it's like, okay, if I go left, I got to head into, let's say, Berks County and and take care of things down there. But then, okay, if I turn right, then I can go take care of all these other things.
Right.
Let's say in Dauphin County, or, it's kind of, I'm very centrally located, but yeah, it's honestly is, do I turn left or do I turn right? It's a lot of prioritizing. So it's a large territory, which is a challenge in its own, but just being out in the road and, there's a lot of ground to cover in a day, and just working through the process. Okay, well, if I go to X, Y, and Z, I'm going to miss A, B, and C, but some days I just don't know which way to go. I can't do it all.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
What do you think GT&E could do to help with that?
Well, obviously they're already in the process. They're going to be adding more CSAs.
So do you think more CSAs would help?
Oh, yeah.
Not just your workload, but helping our customers, because it will help.
By all means.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually really excited that they're going to be adding as many as they're going to be. I think it's extremely important for GT&E, and especially for our customers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Any other challenges?
Other challenges to continue there on that, working remotely. So much of what we do on the back end. So customers, they say, hey, I need these parts, or I need to, I need a quote for this, or, come out and do this inspection, or whatever it might be. There's a lot of background processes that have to take place.
Yeah.
And the challenge is, obviously I get up early and I get on the computer and get things done and then get out on the road. But it's tough being out there and having to do work behind a computer.
Yeah.
It really is. Now I have a lot of great support. I have a lot of great communication, but again, it's technology. We don't have great cell service out there. There's a lot to keep moving, so to speak. When you're out in the road, you want to get as many customers as you can. Again, it's like that. I said, do I turn left or do I turn right?
Yeah.
Navigating through the day working remotely is a challenge.
And then hopefully with more CSAs coming on board in the near future.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Hopefully that will.
There's also a lot of processes that GT&E is implementing, and I mean we're definitely on the forefront of a lot of processes using Expert Connect, which is going to help streamline a lot of the communication.
Yeah,
because a lot of it rolls down to communication. I'm out there and I get these big parts orders, or I get these quotes that have to be done. Having that communication with the team saying, hey, I need this kind of information to help me put this quote together.
Yeah.
Or, hey, this customer's, having problems with, let's say, on Operations Center, trying, using JD Link to connect to their machines to, manage their fleet better, and they're having issues or something's not working correctly. That's something where having that communication internally will streamline things and allow quicker responses to our customers. And that's what I'm really out there looking to do, is get out in front of the customers and to pinpoint, okay, we need this kind of a solution. And that's where I said, that's the value, is I'm that connection piece. I'm that, conduit between our customers and our product support team, and even into the sales team, that, hey, I can communicate this, and we can use that through Expert Connect and get the team involved and make sure that, nothing falls through the cracks. So I see a lot of processes, and there's some doing these undercarriage inspections. There's tools that I'm going to be using to streamline and to make it more efficient, and actually make more visibility between our customers and our, internal staff here.
So you've been in the construction dealership world for how many years now?
12.
12. You've been in quite a few departments. You've been around for a while, so you've seen a bit. And now working as a CSA with GT&E, how do you think GT&E has shaped your perspective on the construction industry?
Wow, Rachel, that's a great question. I think you should be the host. Moving on from here forward, Rachel's the new
I just want
IronCast.
to close it out with some real.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
because my perspective, I'd have to go back to when I was offered the role as a John Deere dealer, as a CSA. It was narrow. I was given a couple tools in my toolbox. Hey, Jason, go out and give free undercarriage inspections. You got a large territory, so we're going to keep you focused in on undercarriage inspections and also utilizing those parts cabinets and the fleet guard filters for all makes options. It was, these were door openers. These were added value.
Yeah.
My perspective has changed with GT&E. Not initially, but once it was like when I was first given the role, previously I was like, sign me up. This is great.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite like that. I was just like, oh, wow, I'm going to have to wrap my head around this. But once I was given a large portfolio to offer our customers, I saw, wow, these are great things that I get to do with our customers. One, it changed my perspective when a machine is delivered, doing that CSA follow-up, building that relationship that, hey, you got the machine. Jason's going to come in here and make sure that everything's running smoothly. And I like that I get to have that opportunity. And, it just continually strengthens those relationships with our customers. It better connects us. So that changed my perspective that, hey, I got more to offer. And obviously a big one was adding the Wirtgen line to my portfolio. That was a game-changing perspective for me.
And you recently went to Wirtgen training, right?
Last year,
how was
I
that?
spent two weeks. They were spread over a month period, but I spent 2 weeks learning about cutter bits on the mills. I actually ran a paver.
How did that go?
It was good. It was a controlled environment. I'll just say that. And it wasn't real paving. It was just, loose material that we were laying down. But this wasn't something I was around it, but I wasn't in it. Now that we're a Wirtgen dealer.
Yeah. So with the Wirtgen line coming with GT&E, it's opened the door.
Oh, yeah.
For more customers?
Again, adding to my portfolio.
Yeah, adding.
So my perspective is wow, I have a lot more to offer. And, obviously there's challenges with that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, too, with having such a large territory. So again, circling back, I am excited because having a smaller territory, I have a larger portfolio. I have more to offer our customers, more support on the Wirtgen line. I love crushing.
Crushing is pretty cool.
Crushing is awesome. I love the impact crushers, jaw crushers, cone crushers.
Yeah.
I just think that's cool. They're just big beasts tearing up rocks.
Yeah, that equipment is amazing.
It is.
When you're seeing it operate.
Yeah, and going down to Antioch, or, it's near Nashville, to Wirtgen and to their training center was top notch. Their trainers were amazing. I got to do it hands-on as well. Like they literally gave us like, hey, here's some cutter bits.
Yeah.
Hold them, touch them, feel them,
And that's the thing. Like we talk a lot about John Deere, and sometimes I feel, we don't really talk about Wirtgen that much.
Oh, we need to.
We need to, yes. And it's going to be great. Hopefully in the near future, we will have somebody within the company who is part of that division on here to talk about
Oh yeah,
PMP
I would
division.
love that.
Yeah, it would be.
I would love that.
Yeah, just hearing you talk about it, you seem
I'm
you're learning things. You're getting excited about it.
Excited about it.
Yeah.
And Hom rollers. Everybody saw it's a big dumb roller, but we got a big portfolio in compaction line.
Yeah.
Through Hom. And also having that option more focused in on our service department. I feel more of a service employee, I would say, than I did previously. It was more about parts before, but parts and service go hand in hand. Absolutely. And that perspective to me is now we've bridged that gap in the CSA role where parts and service are all inclusive to the CSA role.
What do you think is one of the most misunderstood aspects of undercarriage maintenance? Because that is a big part of what.
Oh yeah,
undercarriage.
Well, again, CSAs are undercarriage specialists, and people think that undercarriage it's just clunky and nuts and bolts, and it's simple, but there's a lot of aspects that, as I've learned over some years here, and I really kind of dug into, no pun intended, and got on track, another no pun intended, with undercarriage. I found that there's some intricacies of it which people don't quite understand. Obviously, with maintenance, there's three big factors, and anybody out there that has undercarriage equipment, excavators, dozers, crawler loaders, skid steers, mini X, the whole line. That three big factors are cleanliness. All that material that is getting dug into, that material just will destroy the undercarriage. It's like rubbing sandpaper against against steel. The other thing is the maintenance part of it, making sure things are moving, freely, has something wore out. So it's like saying this: if you go in and get a brand new set of tires on your truck or your car, and they don't do an alignment, and you don't get the same amount of mileage out of the same tire you had when the car was new, and you wonder why. Well, was the alignment checked? Is there, any ball joints or anything like that going out? It's the same thing with undercarriage. Is there something hanging up? Is some of the framing got wore away where it should have been sliding smoothly? Like top carrier rollers, are they aligned that they're, running true? And the other thing is, and this is something that can be challenging to navigate when talking to customers. And I always take the aspect of, look, I work in a construction dealership, a John Deere dealer. I sell parts, solutions, service. That's what I'm into. I am not an operator. You do not want me out there in your crawler loader trying to push dirt, because it's going to look like a washboard when I'm done. Can I do it? Yeah. Can I get it by? Probably. I've run enough of it that I can be dangerous. And I know there's challenges out there, and these jobs are not as easy as maybe they once were. It's a lot of rock. It's a lot of, just the jobs aren't easy anymore.
Yeah.
When you're seeing the undercarriage wear, and that's where it gets kind of like I'm a forensic scientist or something. I'm trying to see, like, okay, why is the left side worn harder than the right side on this dozer? And I love that I get to go out there and I get to measure things. I get to look at, okay, let's look at the blade. Let's look at the left corner end bit on the blade, the cutting edge. It's worn harder than the right side. So we know this guy he's like NASCAR. He's always going to the left.
Yeah.
Left turns only. Or I see, that the bushings are wore heavier, going forward than they are going in reverse. It's those kind of things that I get to kind of pick through, and I can actually, come back with this appraisal and say, all right, because this is the third thing that wears undercarriage is operation. Are you going in high speeds in reverse a lot? Because that adds to the wear. Or, there's different factors, but the challenge is navigating those conversations with somebody that has probably as much experience operating that machine that I've been alive, possibly. And a lot of times the guys that are very experienced, I don't need to have those conversations. There's the guys that are getting, and if they're the only ones in that machine, it's not passed around between different operators in a company. I'm seeing, those are the machines that get like 7,000 hours on an undercarriage. And I remember this time, there was one operator that stood out to me that's like that. They called him Smoke. He worked for Horst Excavating. He's more recently retired. But I was looking at their 755K. It's a crawler loader. It's got the tracks on it. It's got a bucket, and it's a big machine. And I've been watching that machine. So I would go out and do routine inspections all throughout its life. All throughout they've had that machine. I was out there looking at it every 1,000 hours or once a year. We actually did it just once a year because he was putting a lot of hours on it. Mm-hmm. And I would just sit up on top of the hill at a job site, and I would just watch Smoke run that machine. Now, taking a lunch break or something, I would just sit up there, have the air conditioning on, sunglasses on, eating my sandwich or whatever I'm doing. And I would, just waiting for him to, get finished what he's doing. I would just watch him, every move calculated. As he was coming into the pile, the bucket was going down. Once he got there, he was digging in so far and then rolling the bucket back as he was picking up the dirt. And there was no move that was uncalculated or unnecessary. And that's one of those guys, they got over 7,000 hours out of that crawler loader on that John Deere undercarriage. Two, the maintenance. They have a top-notch, guy that comes around and makes sure that everything is up to snuff, and, tracks are at the right tension. That's another thing, is track tension. And they clean their tracks out before the end of the day. So when they came in the next day, everything was ready to go.
So you've been in the dealership, in the construction industry for about 12 years.
Correct.
If you had a magic wand and could fix one thing about the construction industry overnight, what would it be?
I think the biggest issue that we could fix is going to be one that we're going to see more and more of as time goes on here. And that would be that everybody had the understanding that this is a amazing industry to work in. And I'm not saying that this is because, previously, a few episodes ago, we had Sam Davis on. But it really is a passion of mine that I was somebody that thought, okay, I'm going to go into this industry. And that was the motorcycles. And I thought, okay, I'm going to make a life career out of this. That wasn't the case. But boy, I found my home here in the construction industry, and it's got a great future if you put the work in. Working. You put the work in. But no, seriously though, I think there could be a very big issue coming up, and that's having enough people to work in this industry. You don't notice it until you're in it. Like, I didn't used to see the excavator alongside the road, the 190 excavator, with the tires on it, sitting along the highway that they're doing, ditch cleanup or something. I would just drive right. I actually ride right by it but I saw every single motorcycle that was there, and I waved to them, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's changed. And, there's so much opportunity in the construction industry. But boy, I hope we have enough technicians. I hope we have enough operators. Because if you see the technology where it's headed, it's going to need a lot of support. There's obviously not enough skilled operators out there. We have grade control for a reason. Obviously, it makes things more productive, more efficient. But it's going to open up doors for people to jump in those seats. Sure, there can be autonomous dozers out there, or I know haul trucks are autonomous. It's coming. It's going to be here. But still, people need to work on it. People are going to need to work in the dealerships. They're going to need to, be out there
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just worried that there's not going to be enough people to support it. So to wave the wand and just have people magically see that you can get an awesome career working in the construction industry.
Any final thoughts for the employees with GT&E and our customers, our listeners, family of employees, family, friends of customers that we have, whoever's listening?
That's what we call in the South, all y'all.
All y'alls.
Well, if I had to say something to all y'all.
Isn't it yins?
That's up here, I guess.
All yins.
All yins. That don't sound right.
No, I don't know. I'm not Dutch enough.
Dutch. If you ain't Dutch, you ain't much. I think a big thing that everybody needs to understand and hone in on is this is about relationships. Especially here at GT&E or anybody that's listening out there, remember that it's about relationships. People buy things, but they buy them from people. When you build that workplace relationship, either internally or with our customers, a lot of it has to do with teamwork. And I think the best thing that I've ever learned with teamwork is understanding that there's three things that I have, me, if I'm, with my coworkers, that I have that I can control. That's my attitude. I call them the 3 A's, by the way. It's my attitude, my acceptance, and my actions. Attitude is a tough one. And I learned something a long time ago. And the things I learned were from much smarter people, which is not hard to find. And this person told me, he said, Jason, when you get up in the morning and you're going to start your day, ask yourself, what's the next best thing I can do today? And that really is a game changer for attitude, because there's a lot of challenges. There's days where things just aren't going right for me. And I'm communicating internally with our people, and it's so easy. I could just blow up and have a bad attitude, or something's not working right. The part that I ordered, they told me it was going to be in the next day, and the trucking company lost it. Look, I can't change any of that stuff, but the thing I can change is my attitude and my acceptance over those things, and then my actions. Can I look at that as a way to move forward and let's get this done? Or am I just going to complain? Understanding that can be difficult, especially some days it's mostly my fault. I'm having that bad attitude. Not everybody else is having a good day either.
Yeah.
And I remember a customer that would, everybody thought, that's a grumpy guy, he's always mad at something or nothing's ever right for him. But, we never know what that person's dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
That is true.
We don't. You have, and I hope that, this vision of the IronCast, again, I never did a podcast before. I wasn't looking to do one, but there was something there that said, there's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And we get to all, again, I'm going to go back to it. I want people to go on this journey with us. Our listeners, people, our people that work at GT&E, people, our customers, our vendors, anybody listening to this, to dive into a very interesting and unique, small community that we call the construction industry.